Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are here with me, congratulations. You are in the process of signing your contract with Knight Homes. I am Danielle Williams. I am with Exclusive Realtor Partners, and I'm an agent associated with Knight Homes. Again, congratulations on your purchase. I will be going over your contract with you line by line. If you have any questions, please reserve them to the end. I will be giving you opportunities to sign your contract as we go over the contract line by line. Again, thank you so much for choosing Knight Homes. Congratulations on your purchase. Have a great day.
Alexa, Alexa, volume 2.
All right, guys, if you can hear me, we are still here. We're going to be talking about your contract with Knight Homes. You should be able to see my screen now. Let me just make sure my screen is showing clean. All right. All right, the first part of the contract simply talks about the purchase and sale, and it goes over your physical and legal descriptions. So the physical description of your property is going to be your address. As you see, your address should be here. Please do not pay attention to what's in the video because this is going to be different than what your address is. But make sure that you're in McDonough and your zip code is 30253. Your legal description is whatever lot you're purchasing, and then the cottages of Avalon. Okay? Second part of the contract talks about the actual purchase price. Your purchase price will be different. Make sure that it is correct. Third part talks about earnest money. Our earnest money on our spec contracts are $1,000. Depending on what you're purchasing, this may change, but if you're buying a spec contract or a spec home, it should be $1,000. This goes over how you get your earnest money back. And the reality is that the only way that we really deliver funds back is if the seller does not produce a house. And we can use earnest money and deposits in our escrow accounts for any liquid damages if you so choose to walk away from the purchase of the house. Now, with that being said, we do not have a financial contingency. However, if something is outside of your control, like let's say you lose your job or something along those lines, Knight will give your earnest money back, but it has to be something that's reasonable. It cannot be you just changed your mind and wanted to get out of your contract. As you see here, that we can provide or we can use your deposit and your earnest money for full liquidated damages. Okay, and this talks about option money. Now, if you decided to upgrade or do any options, this basically says that the option money can be non-refundable as well. So the same aspects or the same stipulations are applied to the earnest money. If you walk away from the house, then you can lose your option money as well. Okay. Next part talks about warranty of title and title examination. This basically means we're going to give you a clean marketable title at the time of closing. You won't have any liens or clouds or anything like that on your deed. Okay. The part F talks about responsibility to cooperate. This basically says you have 5 business days to get an acceptance of a contract, get your loan obligations together, and it also says that you agree to cooperate until we close the loan as far as signing amendments or anything that we need to do in order to get this house closed for you. G talks about brokerage and agency, and this breaks down the commission structure. Now, the seller pays the commission, but it does let you know that your buyer's agent and myself being the listing agent, we do get paid to sell houses. So this tells you how we get paid, and this is done by the seller. Time is of the essence basically means we need you to get your documents into your lender as soon as possible so that we can close your loan. Assignment basically says that you can assign your loan to whoever you want without the consent of the seller. Entire agreement. This entire agreement is voidable if you're giving me any misrepresentations or promises that are not true, if you're under the age of 18, if you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, anything like that. Survival of the contract. Any promises we make to you or you make to us survives the contract. So if we tell you we're going to take care of your punch list, we can't let you go to closing and then decide not to take care of your punch list. But that also gives you responsibility as a buyer to make sure you get everything from us in writing. Okay. Now, stipulations. In our stipulations, we pay our part of the taxes, you pay your part of the taxes. You also pay the transfer taxes as the buyer, and you'll get a copy of your 210 warranty at the time of closing. So what this means to you is that you can get a copy of a generic 210 warranty, but since it is a policy, you will get a copy at the time of closing. So if you decide to rent your house at a later date, then you would not, or your renter would not be able to call on the warranty. You would have to because it is a policy in your name. All right, and you have to close on the house. That's our 4th stipulation. Now going into new construction and construction underway. If you're here with me, this is potentially a spec contract, meaning that your house is past framing, meaning that we should be establishing a close date. If this part is blank, get with your representative in front of you and ask her what is your potential or expected close date. Now, the part that's in bold, this basically says we are men building a house. And if something happens as an act of God, utilities, or third party contractor, it can delay closing, and we can adjust closing at any time due to those reasons. Closing is done at McMichael and Gray in Stockbridge. This is their address. At the time of closing, you'll get a copy of your home warranty, building permit, and your termite agreement. This also says here that if you decide to change your closing attorney, any closing costs that are promised to you can be reduced to zero. Okay, and this basically talks about the termite bond that we provide for the first year. Number 6 goes over closing costs. Whatever closing costs are promised to you, depending on your lender commitment, will be right here. The seller will agree to pay whatever this number is, and we will indicate whether it's a preferred lender or non-preferred lender. Also, we have here whether the lender or how much the lender will be contributing, along with what the lender and seller will be contributing as a whole. Make sure these numbers are correct. Okay, covenants. We have an HOA community. Our initiation fee at the HOA is $200, and our annual is $400. Depending on what time you buy of the year will be how much you pay in your HOA. Disclaimer and disclosures. Basically, this means that there are no misrepresentations from the agent to the buyer, meaning that we're not promising you anything to buy the house. You're buying the house of sound mind and that you want to buy a house. So we're not promising you a Lamborghini or anything like that to make this purchase. You're doing it strictly because you want to buy a house. Leading us to number 10, mold disclosures. Knight Homes does not provide any guarantees when it comes to mold. So as the buyer, we actually do a due diligence and get a home inspection if needed, and this will protect you against mold. We do provide a 210 warranty, which provides protection against your HVAC, plumbing, things like that for the first 2 years, and then 10 years bones and frame of your house. So it is up to you to make sure you protect yourself against any mold that could be found in the home. Typically, this doesn't happen, but again, we ask you to do your due diligence. Now, as you see here, I need an initial, not saying that you agree with the mold disclosure, but it does say that you understand the mold disclosure. I'll give you a second to give me your initials there. Moving on, arbitration. At any point you and Knight have a disagreement, this is saying you agree to come amicably and try to work out your disagreement in arbitration. If at that point you cannot work out your disagreements, then you can hire an attorney, but this does say you agree to arbitrate first. Okay? Plans. Your plans are done by a builder's professional and a licensed professional. If you need a survey, you need to get it provided by the lender, required by the lender. We, as a builder, use the surveys to put your fence on the property line, so you can rest assured that your survey is done correctly and that your fence is on your property lines. But should you want another survey, you'll have to pay for it after you close or have the lender provide a request for it. Loan obligations. This basically says that you have 5 business days to get a loan obligation or pre-qual, but we don't do that here at Knight Homes or at West Park. If you're standing here in front of us, we probably already have your pre-qual or you're working on it, and it's basically to make sure that you're not wasting your time here with us right now and that you have your pre-qual and the ability to have buying power for your home. Okay, this next part talks about the lender and who the lender is, whether it's a preferred lender or non-preferred lender. Offer. This is basically saying that we are putting an offer. At no way are we under contract right now. As soon as you sign, the seller signs, the broker signs, your agent signs, then will be executed, and then the representative at Knight Homes will be giving you a call back and sending you a executed copy of your contract and providing it to the lender. Okay. I'll give you a second to sign this. I will need the purchaser to sign right here. I would need the agent, if there is an agent, to sign right here. I will sign right here. Knight Homes will sign right here along with the broker. Okay? So I'll give you a few seconds to sign those areas. Addendum A, control sheet. This is breaking down everything that's coming in your home, or if there's any stipulations to be coming in your home, that will be this page right here. In this example, we have a breakdown of what's coming in the house, and you can go over all the costs associated with the house. It will have your first floor binding, second floor binding, pools, basically the granite countertops, anything that we have coming in the house should be here. And this should add up along with the base price, which is here, and it should reflect the total number here. And this should be what's on the top of your contract as well. Whatever this number is, it will be different on this contract versus your contract. I will need a signature here from the purchaser, a signature here from the seller, agent, excuse me, and then I will sign here on the listing agent, and then Knight Homes will sign here. Okay, I'll give you a second to sign those areas. All right, moving forward, Addendum B. Addendum B talks about financing, and depending on which type of financing will be highlighted here. If you're going FHA, we'll give an X here. If you're going conventional, we'll give an X here. If you're going VA, we'll give an X here. Okay, this here should be the price of your house. It should be the same as on the front of your contract. Okay, I will need initials. I'm sorry, I would need signatures from the selling agent here, the purchaser here, and then I will sign here. And basically, this basically goes over the type of financing you choose. Okay, Addendum C. This is very important. If you have an agent with you right now, the orientation is typically done a week before closing. And during the orientation is where you'll have the checklist for anything that you would like the builder to change or complete by the time of closing on your home. This time is set aside for the builder and the buyer only. So if you have an agent, your agent is free to come with you before the meeting with the builder, but they are not allowed to attend during the meeting. This also goes for family members, cousins, uncles, anyone that is not on the contract will not be allowed in the meeting with the builder. Now, again, you guys can come, or they can come before your meeting with the builder, and they can come after, but that time period is served for the builder and the buyer. If your house is not constructed and we have to provide a pre-construction meeting, this is basically saying that as soon as we get the plans, you'll have within 10 days of notice to come on site and go over your pre-construction. Change orders. If you decide to change something or alter something after the time of contract, we do charge a $1,000 change fee. And we also charge the cost of the fee to change. So let's say you change your floors. If it costs us whatever it costs to rip out the floors and put floors in, that would be a fee you would pay along with the $1,000 change fee. So we discourage any changes. Now, any changes made to date that's been approved will not affect the change fee price. So if you've made changes on your flooring today and that's going in your contract, rest assured you will not be charged a change fee. Lot. The lot of the contract is what it is. So whatever your lot is, that's the house that's coming on it. We can't change that. Engineers, we do follow codes when we build your home. Materials, we use first grade materials, not second grade materials. We don't use salvage materials when building your home. Open house, it says that we can open your house until we close on it. Utility easements, for the first 8 feet of your home, that is where the utilities companies access the property. So even though this is technically your property, it is accessible to the utility company. Streetlights, they are monitored by the county and the homeowners association. Credit report and appraisal. The credit report and appraisal fees are charged by the lender. It can be paid outside of closing, or it can be accessed on your closing costs, but this is something that the lender will give a value to. Earnest money here, just make sure this is the same thing as the front of the contract. Like I said, if this is a spec contract, we typically charge $1,000. Okay. Contingencies, if you have a house to sell, then you will put NA here for contingencies, and we would write a contingency up for you. That will basically say that we give you 72 hours to remove your contingency should we get another offer on this home. Subcontractors, contractors that will be performing work on your house are not Knight employees. So please vet them at the door if it's somebody that works in your house after you close. Utilities, I need turned on prior to closing. Now we understand that you cannot get your water turned on. They do need a HUD 1 statement to turn your water on, but we do ask you to turn your water on in your name as soon as you close. We do not allow a for rent sign in front of the house. You can put a for sale sign in front of the house, but per our HOA, we do not allow a for rent sign. If there are for rent signs in the community, please rest assured we've already let the HOA know, and we are tracking those to make sure those come down. Decorator selections, you've already went over decorator selections with the representative in front of you, and that's basically where you went over the colors of the house. Allowances. Any allowances done or any extras done on the house, if you decide not to purchase the house for any reason, we will keep the allowance money. Exterior colors are done by the HOA and also done by Night Home, so we have no choice in what the colors are going to be. However, depending on where you are in the construction of the house, you can ask the representative in front of you for the list of colors. Grading. If your house already has grading or if it has sod down, if you see pockets of water for more than 48 to 72 hours, please let someone know in the office so we can provide proper drainage. If it's been less than 48 to 72 hours, please give it time to drain. The sod is sitting on red clay, and sometimes it takes a little while before that water will drain properly. Subdivisions. We are a sewer subdivision, not a septic. Appliances. If you decide to upgrade your home and it affects the sales price, if the house is not appraised, because of those appliances, you will be required to pay the difference. Easement verifications. We do not have any retention ponds in this community, but if we did, we will provide an easement verification. Per diem. This is basically saying if your house does not close in the time that we've agreed, that you agree to pay $25 a day until the house has closed. Now, if this is a preferred lender, we will work with you. If this is an outside lender, please make sure that your lender can close the deal and during the set times in which they said they could close the deal. Okay. I will need a signature here. I will need a signature here from the selling agent, and then I will sign here. Going back to the beginning of the addendum C, I will need initials every place in front of all of these objects that I am highlighting now. So I'll give you time to go give me an initials everywhere that I'm highlighting now. And again, when you finish, I need a signature, date here from the purchaser, signature and date here from the selling agent, and then I will sign here and Night Homes will sign there. Give you a few more minutes to make sure all those places are signed. All right, moving on, addendum D. Private home inspections. We encourage private home inspections here. This basically says that your inspector has to be CABO or ASHI certified, and they have to carry their own insurance. We will only address concerns based off current county building codes. So if you have an inspector that comes with a list of codes, if they're not a part of Henry County building codes, we will not address them. This is very important. We will only address current county building codes, okay? And they do have to be CABO or ASHI certified. I would need a signature and date here from the purchaser, signature and date here from the selling agent, and then I will sign as well. Also, I need this report before home orientation, or there will be a charge for repainting if there's anything that we have to do after home orientation. So please make sure that you have your inspector in place and the report able to be delivered to me before home orientation. Okay, give you some time to sign there. All right, addendum E. This talks about the closing letter to be obtained. There is an association here again. The association annual fees are $400. The initiation fee is $200. In this, you're required to obtain your own closing letter. Typically, this is going to be in the closing funds, but if that changes, you are required to call the closing attorney and make sure that they don't need a closing letter or that you don't have to pay for in a closing letter. Typically, at this price point, you're looking at about $150 for the closing letter. Lately, it's been, like I said, contained inside of the closing costs, but it is your responsibility to make sure you obtain a closing letter if so needed. I will need the purchaser to sign here. I will need a good number for the purchaser, a good email from the purchaser, and the purchaser's agent. I would need signatures here, printed name, and a phone number as well. I'll give you time to do that. Okay. All right, going to exhibit agency. This tells you who works for who. In this situation, the listing broker works for the seller and the selling broker works for you if you have an agent in front of you. Dual agency means that I can work for you and the seller, but we typically don't do that at Night Homes. Designated agency means that we've assigned you an agent. If you brought an agent, there's no designated agency. Material relationship is if there's any personal, family, business relationship between the seller and the agent that we need to disclose. I need an initials here from the selling broker. I need initials here from the purchaser, and I will sign here at a later date. Okay, give you some time to sign that. Okay, next part, pre-sale or spec. This talks about the builder being a certified home builder and that we are a professional team. And it goes over where your property is located, and this is a spec or pre-sale. Now, if you're standing in front of me again, this is a spec home, and what that means is the house is standing and we are not in the process of getting permits or leveling land. Your house is already underway. Okay, I need a signature here from the seller. I'm sorry, from the buyer, excuse me, and a date, and then the seller will sign here and date it. Give you some time to look over this and sign. Okay, next page. For your protection, get an inspection. This talks about the difference between a home inspection and an appraiser. For the ones that do not have an agent, this goes over why you need an inspection and why you need an appraisal. An inspection provides value for the home, and an appraisal, an appraisal provides value of the house, assess the value, and the inspector goes over and makes sure that the house has a detailed report of the conditions of the house. Okay, if you're doing a promissory note, this page is for you. I will need, well, let's go back. I apologize. On the for your protection, get an inspection. Make sure you sign here and date, and this is for the purchaser. The next page is the promissory note. If at any point we're doing a spec contract where it requires more than $1,000, we can do a promissory note, and this basically gives the dates and times that it's due. And it talks about earnest money and option money. So if we need to do a promissory note, this is the page that addresses that. I will need a signature and date here from the purchaser, signature and date here from the selling agent, and then I will sign here as well. Last but not least of the contract talks about the 210 warranty. Basically, all this is the legal jargon for the 210 warranty. This will be ordered again a couple days before closing, and the 210 warranty talks about the first 2 years being electrical and plumbing, so your HVAC, things like that are covered under your first 2 years, and then like the bone frame of a house is covered under the last 10 years of the house. And this is just the legal jargon. You can look over this, but when you're done, I need you to sign here and date here as the home buyer, and then our seller will sign here and date here. Okay? I thank you so much for participating and signing your contract. I wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions, again, my name is Danielle Williams. My phone number is 404-936-9649. I'm with Exclusive Realtor Partners, and I'm an associated agent with Knight Homes. Again, congratulations on your purchase. Have a great day.